Laughing aloud now, magic in the air. Wands fall around us, cast away our care. Friends in the hallways, adventures we find. Spells and enchantments, trouble on our mind. That's so.
So we've got this Dungeons and Dragons trailer thingy from Secret Level on Prime that has dropped in the last hour, and in the interweb is already all higgly-piggly over it. So what is going on with this thing? It came out of nowhere. I had no idea they were doing this. It must mean blah, 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 blah. So before we watch the trailer, which is pretty nightmare fuel, let's make a few things straight, because we know people are already getting all up in arms over what this trailer means and how it came out of nowhere. First off, it didn't come out of nowhere. Amazon has been talking about Secret Level for over a year. Second off, it is one part of a multi-part thing that Amazon is doing that's going to be about video games. Each episode is dedicated to one video game. As you can see by the thing on Secret Level for Prime, we're going to have a Mortal Kombat, a Pac-Man, a Dungeons and Dragons, Crossfire, Warhammer, Mega Man, a whole bunch of them. So it's a whole bunch of different video games, a bunch of different video game artists, and a bunch of different animators getting together to create short little 25-minute cartoons based upon the video game properties. One of those properties, of course, is Dungeons and Dragons, but not Dungeons and Dragons, the tabletop role-playing game, Dungeons and Dragons, the video game, specifically Baldur's Gate. So even though they're calling it a Dungeons and Dragons episode, it's not really a Dungeons and Dragons episode. It's a Baldur's Gate 3 episode. And it is one of many, so it is not a D&D television show. It is going to be a whole bunch of things on this thing. One of the episodes is Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, so let's get that straight. Does this mean a brand new animated show for Dungeons and Dragons is coming out that's going to be on Prime? No, it does not. That deal fell through. This is a one-time thing, and the only reason why it's D&D is because it's part of a larger group of video games that are getting covered in this project that Amazon is covering. One of the many being Baldur's Gate Dungeons and Dragons. So this does not mean that Amazon is doing a Dungeons and Dragons animated cartoon or a Dungeons and Dragons live action cartoon. Does not mean a new Dungeons and Dragons animated cartoon is being made. It is one part of a one-time thing, of a multi-part thing. Think of it like the MCU's animated What If on the Disney Channel, okay? It's several episodes. So I'm sorry for anybody who is spreading the false rumor that this is a brand new thing. That is incorrect. They've been talking about this for over a year. I've mentioned it at least twice. It is not a brand new D&D cartoon. So please stop spreading that one. Does not mean that Amazon and Hasbro have a brand new deal over Dungeons and Dragons. No. One part of many. Now, other side of the fence, of the course, are the people who are all up in arms over the look. All right, the look. So if you haven't had a chance to see this yet, we're going to watch it because you can go to the link. It's on Twitter. And let's see, I have it up right here. So let's go share screen. All right. I've watched this twice. It's been up for about an hour, so some of you may have already seen it. If you haven't seen it, it's weird. But it's weird in context that, okay, this is using the same animation as Baldur's Gate used. So we can give it a bit of an apology for how it looks kind of strange. Now, we know people are already complaining about how it looks and the animation and the lack of white dudes and all the other things. And now it's nightmare fuel. And trust me, you're going to see one of the images and you're going to go, yeah, that's totally nightmare fuel. So let's watch it and let's see what the positive and negatives are of this D&D thing. So it's on Twitter. I'm sure it's other places, but for some reason, the links all go to the Twitter thing. I don't know why. But okay, I'm going to share it. All right, there it is. All right, you can all see it. You're all comfy. You've got your popcorn. Here we go. Ooh, I got a comment. Jose Robles. What's up, everybody? What's up, Jose? Are you ready for this Nightmare Fuel, guys? Okay. See if I can get this thing to work. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go.
Whatever is in you, it's strong. But I can see you are strong too.
All right, there it is. There is the Nightmare Fuel. This is the thing that's getting a lot of complaints. This image of this gnome caster, I guess. Yeah. That is frightening. That is Nightmare Fuel. Okay, there you go. There it is. What do y'all think? It's definitely weird. It looks horrible. Yes, Jose, it looks horrible. The Nightmare Fuel gnome is going to be haunting our dreams. The animation looks horrible. There's no white dudes. It doesn't look anything like D&D. Okay, that is absolutely 100% true. Out of context. In context, it looks exactly what the cinematics from Baldur's Gate 3 look like, and it's made in the same animation style, which in the small screen computer animated world, those animation, the cutscenes regulate between amazing looking to meh, I'll skip that unless it's important, to oh, there's cutscenes, I don't even have those on, or to that's awful. Like my 9-year-old could draw better than that. So because it's trying to emulate the look of Baldur's Gate 3, because it's trying to have that same look, have that same feel, make it feel like you're going into Baldur's Gate 3 of the cinematics of Baldur's Gate 3, it looks choppy. It looks like a video game. Remember, we're also seeing a copy of a copy of a copy on Twitter from a small part of a larger trailer. And of course, they're trying to milk the D&D thing, because the second you say D&D in relation to anything, you get a lot of attention. So yes, it does look frightening. It does look awful. Also, I mean, we're going to say this. Warning. Why? Why this? Why, of all the images to pick as the, hey, look, we did a thing. This is Nightmare Fuel. This is going to turn people away. This is going to get you so many negative comments. It feels self-destructive that this is the image you chose as your spokesperson, your trailer head, your thing, like, hey, bam, look what we did. But you did this bizarre Nightmare Fuel gnome, and that is what people are going to judge this product on. And we're going to get people saying it looks awful. It doesn't look like D&D. I don't want to watch it. It looks like a bad video game. Why did you choose this style of animation when there were so many animations? Why not a white dude? Why is it a weird looking pink-haired gnome? Blah, 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 blah. And all that's true. I'm not defending Wizards of the Coast at all. This is an awful looking trailer for an animated series. But in the terms of trying to capture the imagery from Baldur's Gate 3 cinematics, it looks exactly the same. That's what they were going for. Because this is, let's take the Baldur's Gate 3 video game and make this 25, 35-minute episode of this multi-part animated show and run with it. So, yeah. Now, if you look at some of the art for the other stuff that they're doing, some of it looks breathtaking, and others of it look awful. But each one is trying to capture the specific feel of that specific genre, of that specific video game. And the feel for the Dungeons and Dragons video game is pretty much Baldur's Gate 3, Neverwinter Nights, the most current cinematics. But when you take that and translate it from small screen computer video game to big screen Amazon, it looks choppy and it looks bad. The choices made, as usual with Wizards of the Coast, seem counterintuitive. Using that gnome character as your figurehead is not going to attract people. It's going to turn them away. Using that style of animation, which looks on the big screen on an Amazon level of technology, does not look as good as it does when you're watching a cutscene on the video game. It looks bad. It looks awful. It looks chunky, clunky. It doesn't do the video game any justice. It doesn't do the animation any justice. It doesn't do the show any justice. It sure as hell doesn't do Dungeons and Dragons any justice. There are tons of better ways you could have done a Dungeons and Dragons theme to emulate everything that, this is D&D in a nutshell. There's a D&D video game, by the way, and we're trying to capture that. You could, I don't know, just spitballing here, take a look at the single best Dungeons & Dragons television show out right now, Delicious in Dungeon, and copy that style of artwork while still telling the story to tell us that this is part of the Dungeons & Dragons video game universe. Look at all the other ones. Look at all the other ones they're doing. Look at the one for Pac-Man. Look at the one for Warhammer. Look at the one for Mega Man. They didn't follow the animation style for exactly. They chose animators who were trying to tell the story of that video game through their specific style, through their specific paintbrush. And it can look exactly like the things in question, or it can look kind of sort of like the things in question, as long as it emulates the environment, the feel, the je ne sais quoi, the whatever you want to call it, it does its job. Let's look at it again. So here's the secret level on Prime channel. As you can see, the other characters from the other animations they're doing. All these are great. Mega Man, perfect. Doesn't look anything like the video game. Warhammer, perfect. Armored Core, I don't know that genre. Concord, I don't know that game. Outer Worlds, I know of it. Don't know that one. Don't know that one. Most of these I don't know, but I'm not a video game person. But the point is, as usual, with anything Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro's done, this was intentional. You chose this art style for your trailer, which doesn't work. It is counterintuitive to what you were trying to do, and I just don't understand. And why make that nightmare fuel gnome your thing? But again, we're watching a copy of a copy of a copy through the interweb. So make up your own mind. The link is in the description. If you want to check out the video, it's on Prime. If you want to watch all the stuff that they're doing for Secret Level, mind you, once again, Secret Level is not a brand new thing. This didn't come out of nowhere. They've been working on it for over a year, and I've mentioned it at least twice. Mind you, this is not a brand new Dungeons & Dragons television show. Please stop spreading that. Amazon and Hasbro have not bought each other or whatever other silliness. And yes, every complaint about this is an honest complaint. We're not, people aren't hating at it because it's D&D. People are hating on it because it looks awful. There are better examples of the animation you could have done right on the same page. But But let's face it, it does continue to feel like Hasbro / Wizards of the Coast makes the worst possible choices for anything involving the product line. It's like they don't want to succeed. This is just one example of many in regards to Dungeons & Dragons 2024. Of all the choices you could have made to sell this product as part of this larger product in this one little part of the microcosm that is Dungeons & Dragons branding, you chose the worst possible one. Well, I mean, there could have been worse, but I think we can all agree that if we were going to do a Dungeons & Dragons episode to emulate the feel of the Dungeons & Dragons video games, this is not what we would have chosen because it looks like a bad cinematic for a video game. This doesn't inspire me to want to watch this or play this. But that's so Wizards!
Laughing aloud now, magic in the air.